Determine each of the following. For part A, we're asked to integrate or find the antiderivative of sine of 2x with respect to x. And we know from the formula sheet that we're given that the integral of sine of ax with respect to x is simply equal to -1 divided by a times cos of ax plus c. And this just really describes that we take the coefficient of x, which is a, and we multiply by the reciprocal as part of the process of finding the antiderivative. So let's have a think about what that looks like for part A. So this is going to equal, and following that process we have negative, and we multiply by 1 over a, or a half, and now we have cos of ax, so cos of 2x, plus c. And that c takes into consideration any vertical translations that would have been lost when we originally differentiate. So when we differentiate, we know constants become 0, so we have to reintroduce it when we anti-differentiate. So that is the answer to part A of this example. So for part B, we're now going to anti-differentiate a half sine of -5x with respect to x. And we know that this half that is multiplying the function sine of -5x, it will remain out the front multiplying our antiderivative still. And following our formula, we're going to have -1 divided by a, where a is -5, times cos of the -5x still, plus c. Again, that's that constant of integration that we need to put there. And then cleaning this up slightly, we have 1 times 1 on the top line would give 1. And the two negatives here will become positive, so we'll have 1 divided by 2 times 5 is 10, and then it's going to be cos of -5x plus c. So that is the answer to part B of this example. And just something to note, that if you were to put that into your calculator, you'd actually find that that's equal to 1 on 10 times cos of +5x plus c. And that's simply because the cosine function, when you reflect it over the y-axis, doesn't actually change the graph. So cos of -5x is actually the same as just cos of 5x. So if you were to put this into your calculator, that's the answer you would have gotten out of the calculator. For part C, we have the integral of 4 sine of 3x plus 7 with respect to x. And the good thing here is, as long as the inner function, the 3x plus 7 in this case, is linear, our same formula applies. So this is simply going to equal 4, which is the constant that's multiplying the sine function, multiplied by -1 over the a value, which is the coefficient of x, so it's going to be times -1/3, and then we're going to have cosine of 3x plus 7 plus c. And now we can just clean that up slightly, because 4 times -1/3 is -4 over 3, times cos of 3x plus 7 plus c. So that is our answer to part C of this example. And finally, for part D, we have the integral of -5 times sine of x divided by 3 plus pi with respect to x. So that is going to equal, and this -5 will still be multiplying our antiderivative once we've calculated it. So we're going to have -5 times -1 divided by the coefficient of x, but in this case that a value can be thought of as 1/3. So we're going to have -1 divided by the a value of 1/3, and then that's going to multiply cos of x over 3 plus pi, and then we're going to have a plus c constant that is the constant of integration. So cleaning this up slightly, we're going to have -5 multiplied by, and -1 divided by 1/3 is -3, and then we still have cos of x over 3 plus pi plus c, and then that is going to equal -5 times -3 is +15, cos of x over 3 plus pi plus c. And that is the answer to part D of this example.